Awesome Championship Wrestling returns to the MJN Convention Center in Poughkeepsie on May 17th with Aftershock, presented by Aspire Brewing and Mid-Hudson Pump. In action, you'll see the ACW World Champion Richard Holiday defend his title against Indie God Matt Cardona. The crowning of the ACW Tag Team Championship will take place inside a steel cage as Poughkeepsie's own The Now take on Sent to Slaughter. You'll experience history as the first ACW Women's Champion will be crowned in an elimination match featuring Kelly Madden, Vicky Venuto, Tiara James, Tina San Antonio, and former WWE superstar Indy Hartwell. On the card, you'll also see Real One, formerly known as Enzo Amore, TNA wrestling stars Moose and Mike Santana, ECW legends Tommy Dreamer, Danny Doring, Little Guido, and Joel Gerdner, wrestling legend Crowbar, straight from Jersey Shore Family Vacation, Zach Clayton, and many others. Tickets can be purchased through Ticketmaster, or you can save on fees by visiting the MJN box office in person or buying over the phone. VIP meet and greet packages and more can be found at thisisacw.com.
All right, guys, welcome into a very special, I guess, post WrestleMania post show here on BCP Plus, patent pending. Guys, we are here with senior editor from BCP Plus. Of course, you know him as the head honcho of DFPN, the No Gimmicks podcast, you know, from the popbreak.com. Our good friend, the very handsome Mr. Kelvin Kately. Kelvin, how are you, man? Thanks for a few minutes, bro.
Oh man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm excited. I'm still over the moon, man. I'm still on the high.
Yeah. I could tell, right? And thank you for making time, man. Again, thank you for covering some stuff for us. Thank you for giving us some video clips and giving us some reviews. The GCW review you did was very, very well received, man. And just thank you for doing that. But I could tell, man, because we had it here in Philly last year. There was no way I was getting out to Vegas with my job and everything. You know, SummerSlam's coming this way. I'm excited for that. But for you to go out there, man, the first thing I said to you, man, I'm like, you're going to be exhausted. And dude, did you power through? I could see how much fun you had, the connections you made, making new friends. That's what this whole thing is about. This is how we became friends, because I've never met you in person, just doing this whole thing. But you also seemed like there was a fire lit under you, and you seemed a little bit more inspired. I saw some of your posts. Whatever you're comfortable with sharing, man, about your experience in Vegas and WrestleMania, bro.
No, man. So first of all, thank you for handing me so much stuff to do out there.
Thank you. And I apologize.
And, no, man, no. You told me right off the bat, it's like, dude, you're gonna be exhausted. And I was like, I don't care. I just, as much as I can get in, I can get in. I surely tried, man. So by the end of Friday, I was like, dude, I'm burnt. But I'm going to keep going. So
not even WrestleMania yet. Yeah.
Not even WrestleMania yet. So before Saturday, it was like, dude, I've done so much. I've seen so many people. I know I was tired because right before Joey Janela's spring break, I was heading up to the stairs to go to the spring break. I run into Ric Flair. I'm so tired.
What?
Bro. Wait, what? Yes. I know, right? Sure. I'm so tired. I don't even mark out. I'm just like, oh, look, that's Ric Flair. All right.
Hey, Rick, what's it going? What's up, Kelvin?
Yeah, like, what's up?
That's awesome.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. All right, cool. And I'm like, that just happened, and I'm not freaking out about it. I know I'm tired, but that kind of sums up the whole weekend, right? It's just one thing after another. There was so much good stuff going on throughout the week. And yes, I had conversations with people that really inspired me to keep going. So this trip, as much fun as it was very, very inspiring. Like, I talked to people like Denise Salcedo, who gave me some good words. Shout out to her. David LaGreca. Yeah, oh, most definitely. David LaGreca, Dave from Busted Open, had a conversation with him. Very inspiring. So I had some great conversations with some great people that gave me enough. And I learned enough out there that, like, all right, I have a building block to keep this going. So it was awesome, man. And plus, I met the Nation's Corner. Shout out to them. They accepted me with open arms. Hung out with them the whole time I was there. And through that, man, I was just like, you know what? This was my heaven. This is my personal heaven. If I could do this all the time, I'd do it all the time, man.
I love that, man. Dude, it's awesome. I'm actually tagging Nation's Corner right now on the stream for you. That's so cool, man, when you see people, and also the fact that you got to see Amanda and Kimmy and Brandon.
Yes.
Dude, that's what it's all about, man.
Yes.
I love that stuff.
It's
Um,
awesome.
Dude, so much to talk about. Let's talk about coming out of the weekend, man. You said it in your video. I'm gonna stream some of these comments as we go, but you talked about some of these great matches you saw at GCW. Just off the bat, and I think Fuego was on that list. I heard that one was
Yeah.
great. I got to go back and watch everything. I kept falling asleep, but I tried to watch everything. Megan Bain versus was it Bozilla?
Bozilla, yeah.
Oh my
yes.
gosh, what a great match
Yes.
that was. I still need to watch the cluster. You know what? There's a lot of stuff to watch, man. But go check it out on Triller.
Yeah.
And Kelvin, you did such a great job. But what's some of the standout maybe matches or things that caught your eye real quick?
Jada Stone versus Mizume. Tokyo. First of all, the whole Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling card. I recommend if you can go back and watch that, please go back and watch that. That was good. Konosuke Takeshita versus Mao.
Ooh,
That stood out for me. Of course, Megan Bain versus Bozilla. That was a
really
good
good.
one.
Really good.
Fuego versus Atticus Kogar was a banger. That was an absolute banger. There was another one from Joey Janela Spring Break that I can't remember what it was.
There's
but
so
it was,
much wrestling,
It
bro.
was so much going on, bro. like it was awesome. But yeah, those are the ones like on my brain right now that I remember in the building, just like, oh my God, this is an absolute fire matchup. But definitely Megan Bain versus Bozilla. Because I was like, dude, if we get this version of Megan Bain in AEW, star. She's a star.
I was just going to piggyback on that. I was just going to point that out. One thing that you said that stood out to me was that Megan Bain, if they used her like this, because I think right now they're just kind of doing the thing after taking the L. Where she's just taking on two people. Shout out Rebecca Scott, who was just in a match with her on Collision. She's doing the handicap match thing, and she's looking strong, but I don't want her to be in that holding pattern, like where she keeps doing this, and then, are they going to make her a tag team with Penelope or whatever? Like, don't do that. Like, do exactly what you said, Kelvin, was perfect. I was like, yes, it was a banger. Put her against top tier talent, top tier competitors. Let her show her skill. She was our 2024 indie wrestler of the year. However indie you want to say, she was part of that GCW umbrella and a lot of the indie stuff. So incredible. I also want to point out the fact that Fuego del Sol, very handsome gentleman under that man. He is very handsome.
I feel like everybody in the building knew that.
Yeah.
So they were like, show us your pretty face. And I was like, you guys
He
have
was
seen him
teased.
before? Yeah.
Did he really lose? Did he lose?
Right. He won. He lost, but he won.
Exactly. And and thank you, Fuego, for doing that interview with Kelvin. Great job, man. Kelvin, I'm always trying to. Every time I watch one of your interviews, I try to step up my game, man. So just
I appreciate it, man.
So happy to have you here. Let's talk about the fallout from WrestleMania real quick. There's so many things to hit on. I think that women's triple threat was so good. For me, the WWE match of the weekend might have been that one in terms of work rate and pro wrestling for the WWE umbrella. I really loved NXT Stand and Deliver, that tag team match with the Fraxium and Hank and Tank. That was really good. It had that black and gold like takeover feel. And check out all our WrestleMania weekend reviews on bcp-plus.com. Shameless promo. And then the big, the John Cena of it all. I think a lot of people were kind of heartbroken or sad. We kind of had that, I don't want to say cliffhanger, but kind of like that sad ending that we had 2 years ago, where I told you one person I was with cried. One person was saying, I'm angry and I'm never watching wrestling again. That did not happen. But, one person was laughing. There was so much emotion. I expected Cena to win, so I wasn't like, my emotions weren't like all over the place. I just expect this to be one of those endings where we kind of continue to next year, like we've seen in the past. What were your feelings coming out of WrestleMania, Kelvin?
So coming out of it, I had two thoughts. One, that match ended oddly.
Okay.
it ended very oddly.
Okay.
But I wasn't mad at the result. It was just, I'm not sure if I liked how they got there. So
fair.
Yes, Cody was supposed to lose in my brain, and he was supposed to lose John Cena. whether I liked it or didn't like it, what I wanted actually happened, so I can't really complain about it. John Cena got number 17. Cody is in limbo now. And that part I didn't like. So that was my second part. Is all right, you got Cena the title. What happens with Cody? Because the night before you had a bigger event happen. Like there was more fallout from the night before, right? Between that triple threat, between Roman, Seth, and CM Punk. So you had two big stories, one being Cena getting 17 and the other being the betrayal. We haven't heard from Cody. So that was my worry coming out of it. Are we putting Cody underneath all of this? And what's going to happen? I kind of got my answer on Raw, but that was the biggest questions I had coming out of WrestleMania.
Yeah, very, very well said, Kelvin. And I'll say this, man, the number one thing, I don't know if you can guess, the number one thing I saw on social media coming out of night 2, it wasn't the John Cena thing. Yeah, you have a guess what might be the number one thing from night 2?
There was no Rock.
That too. That's what we're gonna got to get into. But the number one thing I saw was Joe Henry.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just the way that match was done. The smile, like he was playing to the crowd and taking in it. If you notice when he's halfway down the ramp, he almost takes like a gulp. Like you can kind of see it because it's the emotion, you know?
Yeah.
And you know his dream match is John Cena, but man, you get Randy Orton at WrestleMania. So happy for Joe. There's been a lot of chatter about, was it too short? Did it make the TNA World Heavyweight Champion look weak? And that's kind of something I'm looking at. I'm like, this is going to be quick as it's going. And I'll shout out Vicky. I'm like, man, I hope they don't make him look too weak because he's the TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And Vicky's like, no. She's like, this is Randy Orton. She's like, it's fine. It's Randy Orton. And I'm like, you're right. And watching it back, like it really was perfect. Not just the business of it and the numbers and he already had the t-shirt, the smile to the camera, Randy having fun. It was made to be a viral moment, from the entrance to the RKO to the pat from Randy. I thought it was so good, and I'm just so happy for Joe Henry. Kelvin, you were in the arena for that, right?
Yeah. So I actually hit the group chat before it happened, and I was like, hear me out. I was like, what if it's Joe Henry? And then you were like, I would pop. And I was just throwing it out there because I'm like, I was going through my head and I said, maybe it's Rusev. And I'm nah, it don't make sense for it to be Rusev, because then you'd have to have an actual match. Wouldn't really make sense. And I'm like, if you really want to go left field with it, bring out Joe Henry. And that's exactly what they did. So for me, the match actually made sense. Bill saying they made.
I was just gonna pull it up. Should I pull it up? Yeah. What do you think about this, Kel? Because I was talking to, and I as it was unfolding, I said to Vicky, I'm like, "Ooh, I hope they don't make him look like 2 weeks." Because Randy was kind of hitting his like comeback and signatures of power. So I'm like, "Ooh, I hope they don't like do Joe dirty like this." And she's like, "No, it's Randy Orton. Like it's fine." Now, Bill, I know Randy is not your. It's going to be the worst possible counterpoint here, but it's Randy Orton. But I really think, and Joe Henry even said on Busted Open the day after, like it was literally perfect, the business of it all. But go ahead, Kelvin. What did you think about the match flow on that one?
You know what? One moment in that match is going to stand out in time, because there's always a highlight RKO. And if you do Joe Henry's pose with him turning around and then getting RKO'd, they're going to play that every time he's getting ready into a big match. Yep. and they play that RKO. So to Joe's point, it absolutely accomplished something, because you're going to see his face whether he's there or not. So he's already won because he's in TNA and he's wrestling for WWE in WrestleMania as the TNA champion. Win or lose, he's won.
He won. He already won.
Win or lose, he won, right? Because you've taken that title and you put it on the biggest stage possible. People are going to see it. So the fact that half that arena knew who Joe Henry was, it's a win. Not only for Joe Henry, it's a win for TNA, because now you have at least 60,000 people. You have the world watching, and you have someone that can connect. That's very good chances for TNA business-wise. I get you don't like him, Bill, but business-wise, this made a lot of sense. It really did.
Yeah. And I thought it was a lot of fun. Like you said, he won already. Like, and in terms of just like, I always separate the two, right? Like the business of it. And then did it make sense? Did it make him look strong or weak? But then I separate, then I put on the story mode. Like, what's the story here?
Right.
He's the surprise. Randy said anyone with a pair of boots in Vegas show up. Joe Henry, just if I'm WWE, if I'm TNA, let everybody wins. This makes perfect sense from the business standpoint. From a story standpoint, in that match, you get the emotion from Joe Henry, but also as the match is going, I'm like, he's really playing to the crowd to show them what he's got, but just like the smile, and that's what he does, but like a little bit more than usual. And I think that was the story of the match, was like Joe was really enamored by WrestleMania and really just playing to the fans. That was his thing. He got a stomp clap, he got the way, he got everything in there. And what happened? He turns around and smile, boom, RKO out of nowhere. Which kind of made Randy the perfect opponent. I know it's the other way around. Real quick, I don't want to spend too much more time on this. Bill, editor-in-chief of Shameless Promo, thepopbreak.com. Didn't matter who it was. The second RKO and making fun of his pose was an issue. And, of course, Joe Henry didn't have a problem with it. He has to say, well, of course, I know he has it. I think in terms of Orton's character, I think it was perfect. And he gave him the little pat. And it wasn't like a little brother pat. It was like, all right, like welcome. Hey, he knew what the moment meant. I think that pat told me like, and that's what Orton does. He did it to his tag team partners. So I was okay with that second RKO. Were you, Kelvin? We popped for it.
I didn't.
Okay.
I was like, you didn't really need to do that.
It's too much,
but I get it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. I didn't really like it, but I guess. Bill said it was patronizing.
Okay, so Bill saying it now. You're not an Orton fan. So Bill saying it was a little patronizing, like it was like a patronizing, maybe like a pat. I didn't see it that way. We were all going nuts. I thought I wanted him to RKO Joe Henry again. Nothing against Joe. That's just like what Randy does, and
it's like a welcome.
Yeah. I'll ask you this: did the crowd want it when you were there? Did the arena want another RKO?
Actually, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, there you go. And Orton's having fun at this point.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else, man. I know you said you got to see most of The Rock on Pat McAfee. I made a point to turn it on at 12:15. He was there because we haven't had a connection with The Rock. Cena hasn't given it to us, which I think just plays into Cena's heel thing. He's like, I'm not going to give you what you want. You wanted new music. You wanted this. You wanted that. He's not giving us what we want, as Batista would say. And there was no connect to The Rock. I think Pat even asked Cena about it on his show, and we didn't get an answer. Or in the press conference, which was great with Cena. Well, that sounds like a clickbait question. I'm not going to answer that. And he kept going with that. It was great. I love that. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. But we're not getting any answers. So The Rock's kind of popping up, not on Raw, not at WrestleMania. And The Rock basically said he, out of the gate, and this is kind of my take on it, and I've seen several takes. I want to hear yours first, Kelvin. But Rock kind of came out and said, hey, like, I'm not the final boss right now. And just right out of the gate said, so this is the perspective I'm coming from. This was a last-minute plan. They asked me to come to Elimination Chamber due to ticket sales. And I'm paraphrasing. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong. And I kind of set things in motion. It was great. It was a huge success. It was good business. And I let Cody and Cena take this on their own. And the spotlight should be on them. And the final boss is done for now, which could, in wrestling, could mean anything. But essentially, that was kind of his stance. It's like, I'm going to let them go out there and do it. They're doing a magnificent job. And they have. Me personally, and I say this all the time on the show, I like dot connects. I like nuance. I like everything in a neat little package. I like everything to circle back, which they've been doing so much more of the past few years. But we've said it many times on the show. Sometimes when The Rock checks in, it feels, and this is a business based on smoke and mirrors, but it feels very improv. It feels very damage control at times. It feels like Monday morning quarterbacking a bit. What was your take on this whole interview with The Rock there, Kelvin?
So I have to, in order for me to answer that, I have to go back to the Netflix debut.
Yes.
Right. So in that debut, if you go back and you look at the point that he put the Ulafala on Roman Reigns on the Netflix debut, Rock kind of checked out then and there. I think that was it for him. Right. I kind of agree with him. I don't think he was supposed to come back, and due to that, ticket sales, I think he's right. He was forced to come back. get those ticket sales up. Now, is this damage control is the question. I think it's 100% damage control, because the main issue coming out of WrestleMania was that The Rock had nothing to do with this, right? So when you see Travis Scott come out, and I'm going to go by the building, guys, real quick. I'm going to go by the reaction in the building. When Travis Scott comes out, the building goes crazy because a lot of people are expecting The Rock. So when you don't get The Rock, a lot of people left that venue angry because the ending of that match without The Rock, no Rock involved for the entirety of this story other than the Elimination Chamber reveal. We don't know why he got with John Cena. That never got revealed. So it's just been the issue between him and Cody. We think he's going to be involved in WrestleMania. He's not. We don't hear anything from him. We don't hear anything over the weekend about Rock coming. We don't even hear any mention of The Rock until Monday night when they announced that he's going to be on Pat McAfee Tuesday. And it screams damage control. So as much as he said, what happened, what we got, that's what I'm going to go off of. It didn't fit. So if you're telling me that your plan was just to set this up and then go away, I don't believe that. What I do believe, what I do think happened, my theory is The Rock wanted Cody to go heel. Cody said no. At that point, The Rock backed off because I'm going to go back to WrestleMania 40. It was supposed to be The Rock and Roman Reigns. Cody came in, the game plan got changed. Rock goes into the tag match, and we don't get anything from it. But The Rock kind of held a grudge against that. So he backed all the way out. That's what my theory is. I don't know if that's true. Don't quote me on that. But that's what I think happened. The Rock didn't get what he wanted, so he backed out.
I think it's a fair assessment. And again, like, I have no source or knowledge of anything that I've seen a lot of theories saying The Rock and Triple H, and I don't want to put things out there that aren't true, but just a lot of comments and theories I've seen. I feel like I was chewing gum when I started, and now I'm not, and I'm afraid I've swallowed my gum, which I'm just now noticing. So I hope that's okay. I usually don't chew gum, so I apologize for that. Anyway, I digress. I'm just like, my gum isn't in my mouth anymore. So that's something. But anyway, guys, just if you wanted to know that. But there's been theories that Triple H and The Rock had heat. There were other things saying like The Rock is just misdirecting us again, and there's going to be some big faction with Seth, Becky, now Braun, which we'll talk about, Paul Heyman. Something's going on with that. So there's a lot of theories. My take on it is I always go with my gut, and I feel, which now has gum in it, I feel that there's always an impromptu-ness, particularly his NXT appearance, where he was really just playing off the crowd and what they thought about his connection to Cody and if they liked it or didn't like it. And I'm not like against Dwayne or anything. I think he's great and very entertaining and adds so much to the product. It's all really worked out. I just like everything to make sense. That's my pet peeve. But a lot of times it feels impromptu or like damage control, or we're working backwards to make things connect that don't really connect. And they pulled it off a few times. He could be taking us on a ride, but him coming out of the gate and saying, "Hey, I'm not the final boss. Like, this is me as the, executive role. This is what happened." It's very, why would you tell us all of that? It's very, okay, then this, why that? And again, that's part of the job. I get it. That's part of the job, especially when you're the boss, but the final boss, as it may be. But it was very, very interesting. Guys in the chat, let us know what you thought about The Rock's appearance and what's going to happen with Cody. Maybe Cody's taking a very well-deserved vacation. He was at that grueling schedule. He's wearing the glasses now. He's tired. He needs the readers. So let's go to the chat real quick. Bill saying, "Oh, 100% patronized. That was Joe Henry. You guys are killing it come on, bro. You know how we do it." Patrick Nelson in the chat. The Rock, I agree. The Rock did not show up for this Mania. Cena had it under control. So yeah, you think Cena had it? And I do agree. I don't think that's really the point here, but I do agree that it was about Cena, and The Rock being there may have taken away from that. But then you can make, why was Travis Scott there? And even The Rock kind of did. I don't know if you noticed this, Kelvin. He kind of like, yeah, Pat said, if you see Travis, that was the precursor to you coming out. I think I was texting you. Are you here? You're going to come out? And The Rock even said, yeah, I didn't really know Travis was going to be there. He said something like that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
That's very interesting.
Like there's a disconnect there too. Like maybe The Rock's like, yeah, that was a little weird, or yeah, I didn't approve that, So it's very interesting. Kelvin, we're hitting our times here. What did you think about Monday Night Raw? Cena comes out. He just does the countdown of dates, the black and white, like no pomp and circumstance, no frills, the very opposite of Jey Uso. Excuse me. I'm probably swallowed gum. But he comes out and Randy Orton out of nowhere. That was super, super fun. We popped for it in the living room. What did you think about Randy Orton popping up on John Cena, who was going to take the title away, take his ball and go home, and Orton be like, nah, we're going to reignite this feud? Because I think a lot of people are excited about it. Your thoughts on Randy v. Cena, perhaps, one more time?
I like it. I like it one more time. And the reason I like it is because the roles are reversed. We've always seen Cena the face versus Randy Orton the heel. Now we're going to see Cena the heel versus Randy Orton the face. I like that aspect of it. And I know it'll be a good match because they put on good matches. They've always been, for me, the leaders of what this generation has become. It's been both of them leading the way. Cena more so than Randy, but I like that we're getting this type of match at this time under these circumstances. I absolutely love it.
Very, very well said, dude. I agree with that. I mean, as simple as that, it's very cool. I didn't think it was Orton. I had Punk winning at Mania and then Punk being the next guy because he can talk. And I thought he'd really get under, like, ruffle Cena's feathers to like get him to fight him and get under his skin and to get him to give us more, because Cena's been giving us nothing, which is brilliant. In my mind, it's brilliant.
Right.
I think a lot of times with Cena, and you and I have said it before, Kelvin, a lot of times he says something, I'm like, that's fair, or like, you kind of have a point, or like, yeah, we did do that to you.
Yeah.
Which I think is very fair. Let's go to the comments real quick. Patrick Nelson saying Monday Night Raw was good last night. Also real quick, and thanks, Pat, for joining. Please subscribe over on BC Plus on YouTube as well, man. Thank you for supporting. He thinks it's going to be Roman versus Rock next year. Roman is losing everything at the moment. Yeah, he's definitely on a downward spiral of sorts. He looks fantastic, though. Possibly Rock could come back and take that Ula Fala. Yeah, again, talking about what I said, I like everything to connect. He gave Roman the Ula Fala. He put it on him. This bloodline stuff has finally fizzled out, and I'm sad about it. I thought we were going to get Solo, Jacob. I could go on and on, but it's very interesting. Things are starting to feel, I'm going to say this now before I forget, Kelvin, because we're going to talk about Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Becky Lynch. I'm going to say this now. Perhaps even Bailey. I don't know what's going on with that. You can't turn everybody heel. You can't. I'm starting to think they're getting, like, I get it. We're turning the page. Like it's the next chapter, and there's a new crop coming up. I understand that. But like, Cena was the big heel turn. So you got to be careful with these other little ones. You can't turn everybody heel. And that's, I'm starting to get just a sense. I'm just reading the tea leaves a little bit. Where we're going to get a lot of, I can make a case for Bianca, like, coming up. We didn't see Bianca last night, I don't think. Was Bianca on? I don't think she was.
Nope.
Guys, she'll probably be on SmackDown. Maybe bring back the Jade. You can't, it feels like they're trying something. I feel like it's just after Mania. It's too early to say, but I feel like not a misstep, but like things are getting kind of cute. And I'm mindful of that. And it's kind of like, oh, Beck. Let's talk about the tag team title match, for instance, Kelvin.
Yeah,
they won the titles. I thought I did not necessarily want to see Bailey and Lyra as a team. They were awesome. They were so good. This thing with Bailey, like, being injured, which I didn't see, but I read about, like, why is that? And it's like, oh, okay, so Becky can come in and tag with Lyra. That part makes sense. But
yeah,
who attacked Bailey? Why? Like, again, I like everything to connect. And it felt a little forced, like other things we were talking about. And Bailey and Lyra were so good. That tag team match was probably, and no disrespect to the ladies, that tag team match at Mania was probably my least favorite match of both nights. It was a little clunky for me. And then we have Becky come out. They lose the titles, and I'm a huge Becky Lynch proponent. And then she kind of gets mad at Lyra. And I understand. And I think you said it, Kelvin, or someone said it on the podcast. Maybe it was Matt. We need to build Lyra. She's an amazing, amazing wrestler. We need the fans to connect with her. We need to garner that sympathy. I get it. I get what they're doing. But Becky's back, big pop. Now she's mad they lost the titles. Now I'm a bad guy. So it feels like everyone's kind of turning heel. Things are getting a little bit cheap and shortcutted. Maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. Kelvin, what did you think about this whole women's tag team championship back and forth? What do you think about Becky's involvement? And more than usual, people turning heel all in one night.
So the question I had after Raw, specifically with that match, is why wouldn't you do that at WrestleMania? If the result was they were going to lose anyway, why not have that result at the end of WrestleMania? Because you're on a bigger stage than you are Monday Night Raw. So do it then. That was just me. I didn't mind the match for what it was at WrestleMania. Going back the next night, it's like, okay, they're going to do a rematch. They're probably going to win. No, they lose. And then you get the turn. And I'm like you. I'm like, I get it. You want Becky to be a heel because you kind of need a strong heel in the women's division. But that could have been Bianca to me. And there's a lot of things in hindsight that I'm like, why didn't we do this? Like, why didn't we turn Bayley, for instance? Bayley turning on Lyra at Mania. I don't know if she's hurt. From what I heard, they just pulled her. But
yeah,
if she is hurt, then it makes sense for Becky to come in. But then again, if that were the match, let that be the match. Let Bayley turn heel. Again, you have another strong heel. So the next night, when they do lose the titles, it's like a one-day reign that, again, I'm asking myself, why couldn't we have done this the night before? It would have made more sense the night before because you get a big return and then you snatch the joy away from them in the same night. Love it. Then you have something else to build on instead of just, all right, we're going to jump through this hoop twice. So that was my only gripe about it. Is like, why would you have them win one night and then lose the next?
Very well said, as always. Kelvin Patrick saying, what was the point of losing and switching the title back? Right. When it should have been at Mania for Becky to turn heel. Yeah, exactly right. Welcome in the chat. What up, y'all? It's CJ, a Love Lady horror fan. Thanks for chiming in. Let us know what you thought about Monday Night Raw. Give us a sub over on BCP Plus on YouTube. Check out our interviews with Joe Henry and a lot of things with Kelvin's handsome face. Let's talk about something I was very excited about. The return of Rusev, no less on Rusev Day. What are the odds of that? But Rusev comes back. It was like a tag setting. So we had this tag, and the way they were kind of bringing out the competitors and the timing, the slowness of it, I'm like, someone's coming out here. And I said to Vicky, I'm like, what tag team is a free agent? What tag team is going to debut here from NXT? Is it Fraxium? Like, what are they doing? Like, what tag team is coming out here? And sure enough, Rusev comes out on Rusev Day and destroys everybody. He looked great. It was so good to see him. Shameless promo. We interviewed him over on the popbreak.com. Check out our interview with Rusev. I think right before his release with WWE. So that was a long time ago. But he looked great. It was great to see Rusev back in WWE. It just feels right. What you think about Rusev coming back, Kelvin?
Massive fan of Rusev. I'm glad he's back, and I'm glad he looks like Miro the Redeemer.
Yes.
So if that's what we're getting in WWE, sign me up. I want it. I love the Redeemer gimmick. Not a fan of the theme, but if we're getting a Redeemer, Rusev, yes, I love it. And I'm glad to see him back. I hope he gets his opportunities this run because I know he can kill it. If you give him a title, he can carry it. He showed that with the TNT title. He made that thing very, very relevant. So I like where he is right now. I really do.
All right.
What's up, my DFPN family?
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of people checking in. What's going on? What up, Willie? How are you? Thanks for joining in. What did you think of Monday Night Raw? Guys, let us know. Something I loved. One of my favorite wrestlers right now, Stephanie Vicaire, checking in. I had said in NXT, I'm like, she's going to lose the title because they're going to call her up. Like, just the way they've been booking her since she came in. I know a little bit about how and you know how she came in and how quickly they wanted to get her. I'll leave it at that. Shawn Michaels loves her. Just her having both titles out of the gate and just being like, yeah, I hated that she gave one up, but it made sense because you need more matches and deliver more opportunity. I love that she was like, hey, I want to give the women opportunity. Like super baby face, doing all the right things, amazing wrestler, amazing look, moves that pop the crowd, the Booker T chance, the spiral tap. That's what really won me over. One of my favorite moves.
Yep.
And just, I'm like, she's going to lose the title. She's not going to look weak. She's not going to get pinned. She's going to call it the main roster. She retains because she's just better than everybody, apparently. My money was on Jordan Grace. And she comes against Io Sky. And I'm like, this is going to be so good. Like, we don't deserve this on TV. And I was so excited for that. Big Io Sky fan. First of all, love that Io won that match because it did feel like she was an afterthought. We thought she wasn't even going to be in that match. And I love that decision. One of the best matches on the WrestleMania card, if not the best match on WrestleMania this year. That being said,
it is the best.
You were there.
For me. Yeah, for me, it's the best match. It's the best match of the weekend.
Dude, it was so good. They went out there and they said, follow that, everybody. Vicaire versus Io, and it's like a slow build. And I'm like, all right, let's get going. Let's pick up both of you can fly. Like, let's do this. And it slowly built. It took a little longer for them to get to the heavy hitting stuff. And then sure enough, the interference from Roxanne and Julia, which I didn't expect. Again, I'm feeling like this next crop is coming up, which is awesome. Deservedly so. That NXT women's roster is crazy. But I was so sad that match that they were building. But like, I could tell that's why they weren't like going at an 11 for that match. Cause I'm like, they're going to go all out. I hope to see that match again, but it was obviously interrupted. I'm sure we're going to get sort of tag match or repercussions tonight on NXT. But Stephanie Vicaire, I can't say enough good things, man. Huge fan. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers / wrestlers in the world. What you think about Vicaire coming up against Io Sky?
100% agree. I 100% agree. That match showed that she not only can hang on the main roster, she's capable of leading the main roster. So I love the position that she's in, and now she's going to go back to NXT. I like that they didn't do a finish in this match. I do like that they interrupted because it makes both women look strong, though it messed up a good match. I'm willing to say, okay, I get it. You don't want either woman to look weak because that match was an absolute banger. We can come back to it at any point in time. Stephanie can go back, be the champion at NXT, and then when she's ready, I think they need to call her up soon, very soon, because what I saw from her and Io last night, whatever brand she goes on, she's one of the top women on it. Whatever show she's on, she's going to be one of the top women on it. And let me just say, Stephanie Vicaire, without Booker T's commentary, I like it even more.
Yeah.
So yes, without Booker T's commentary, it's great, still great. So yes, bring her to the main roster. Let Pat put his magic on there. Or if she's going over to SmackDown, they can do the same thing with Joe. And they can make her a bigger star than she already is. And that's the thing. I'm so glad she chose WWE because it's the biggest stage, and she's going to be a big star in that company. And she has not proven me wrong at all.
Yeah, and when she came through that curtain, everyone knew who she was, and that's the after WrestleMania crowd. So they were getting a little feisty at times, and they showed both those ladies respect, particularly Io too. I love the respect that they showed.
Yeah,
deserve it. English is not her first language. I thought she did awesome on that promo. It was very endearing, and I love that. And the crowd was so supportive of her. So again, very well deserved. I've been a big Io fan for a long time. So great to see that. We mentioned Pat on commentary. I was expecting a little bit more from him during that match. I'm like, what is his flavor going to be on this? Because what Book does. Funny story. Because you hear the Booker T. You heard a little bit last night, but they do the Booker T. T dance. And when we were in New York, at the theater at Madison Square Garden during that Julia versus Stephanie match. She's doing the move and the Booker T, Booker T's laughing. You can see him, because it's a small arena, and he's just going like this, like stop, because it is about the wrestler, and he's
Right.
laughing, he's like stop it. So I love that there were Booker T chants. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this. Talking about commentary real quick. What did you think? I'm always weird about this. What did you think about Gunther? And I get it. Like, he has to look strong. Like, he tapped, dude. He tapped to Jay. He didn't lose to Jay. He tapped with like one of his own moves. Like, I'm like, he's not going to tap. He tapped like that. I think Matt said it. That shows me how much confidence they have in Jay. Gunther's run was not what I expected in a lot of ways. He was so dominant. I think this was a way to make him look badass, for less of a better word, make him look strong and mad, and attacking the commentary was a weird way to do that, but I get it, to make him look that much more vicious. They talked about it on the Pat McAfee show, and Cole played it up on commentary. This is a pet peeve for me, and it's probably an indie thing. I don't love it when the commentators get too involved, and Cole was selling it, but it almost, he even said, like, I don't want to take away from this match, blah, 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 blah. But maybe for me, it went, and I'm nitpicking because I do commentary stuff, and I am not good like Michael Cole, but he would know better. But I felt that may have overshadowed some parts of match. I'm nitpicking parts of matches. It got a little, it wasn't my favorite. I think the intensity and the shockingness of it, and then people were jumping the rails. I'm like, who are these fans? I'm like, are they punching them? And like, wait, these are his boys. Like, so that chaos of it was all good. And Pat's wrestled before. Cole deserves more. Like, I get it. It just wasn't my favorite. There's nothing really wrong with it. I just have little pet peeves about, him coming in and like, oh, I'm shook, but I'm gonna power through. And to me, it falls under that wrestling acting category where it's harder for me to suspend disbelief. What did you think about that? Did you think that was beneficial to Gunther? Did you think the commentary did a good job on that?
I think you could have got the same reaction if you go out there, have him squash somebody, and then cut a promo. You get the same type of reaction. Though, I'm not mad because Pat has wrestled. That's the only reason I'm like, I don't mind that. I really didn't mind it because Pat has wrestled. He was defending Michael Cole. It kind of made sense the way they did it. But I think you could have gotten that same reaction if he goes out there, he has a match to redeem his honor, cuts the promo. He could still get the same heat from the crowd because he did tap out, and you can carry it forward with that. But the overall angle, I didn't really mind it. I didn't mind the way they did it because Pat's wrestled before. So it still made sense.
Same brain, yeah. And the transition, that's the benefit of Pat. It carries right over to his show. They showed it this morning. I mean, there's a huge, again, like, I'm very good at taking off the story hat and putting on the business hat like I did with The Rock earlier. And it's, if I'm running that company, Pat's doing it. He's going to have it on his show. Let's go. Connect the dots, expand outside this wrestling niche. So I thought that was very smart. Real quick on this, Kelvin, guys, we're going to take you right up to NXT before we get to the main event of Raw, or main, turn, whatever you want to call it, main segment of Raw. Jey Uso coming out, getting that huge celebration, jumping down, restarting his, he does like the restart on his music, comes out. I pop for that. Jimmy comes out, Sammy comes out. I think all of us, maybe I'm wrong, in the back of our head are like, please, it's just because everyone's turning heel. I'm like, you can't turn everyone heel. Sammy, heel turn for Sammy would make sense in a lot of ways. I would love him to just straight up challenge Jay. Good guy. I'm not that person that's like, it always has it. Like, I get it. It should be, dark versus light, Jedi versus Sith. Like, I get it. But every once in a while, like, hey man, you were there for me. You get the first title shot, whatever it is. It was great to see. I'm glad there was no funny business. Sammy was a little bit emotional. I was saying on the pod, I'm like, where's Sammy? What's going on with Sammy? I've been saying for a while now, and I'll stick to that. He deserves that World Heavyweight Championship from whoever has it, not because it's Jay, from whoever that has it. He did defeat Gunther at last year's WrestleMania after that historic reign. I just thought this was a lot of fun. It was perfect. We didn't need to get cute with anything. Kelvin, did you like the celebration, this decision for Jay? Do you think someone should turn? What did you think about all this?
First of all, how cooked are we that everybody was expecting Sammy to turn? Because I know I was. I was like,
You were.
here it comes. He's about to turn on him. Oh, and it didn't happen. Now, even the crowd was like, oh no, he's about to turn. And it was like, whew.
Yeah. Same thing with Jimmy at Mania, where he's like lingering.
Somebody's gonna turn. Oh
Yeah.
no. But here's my thing about the celebration. Here's my thing about Jey Uso, period. Because at Mania, when you have these types of entrances, like we took about 30 minutes from entrance to match to then the match itself was about 10 minutes long. And then you have another 10, 15 minutes for him to go back up before we get to the New Day at Mania. And it's the same thing here. It's like, dude, cut down on this entrance time, bro. Like, let's get to some action. But I get it. The crowd's there to have fun. If they're having fun, I have a video of the entire arena at WrestleMania doing the yeet. So obviously it's working. So on the celebration front, yeah, absolutely celebrate. You're the champion. You made it through. You're on top of the mountain. Now it's all about you holding this and making it relevant at this point. We don't need to yeet. We just need you to be a great champion. So get you a great reign. We don't need the act. You can be the man that you want to be now. So do that. Be the man, be the ass kicker, Jey Uso. Be the man that, but in that 10-minute time frame with him and Gunther, be that guy all the time. And your reign will be absolutely amazing because that match was great. So be that guy night in, night out. We don't need too much more of the yeet. So that would be me. That's my preference.
I like that. No, I like that. And you got me thinking, right? Because we always say on the podcast, you did this, what's next, right? What's this run going to be? It's very well deserved. I'm very happy for him.
Yeah,
I'm glad there's no funny business. The thing with Sammy that endears you, it's that face. It's like that sad face that he has. It just endears me to him. I'm just like, he'll never be a bad guy, and it's just going to sting that much more when he does turn. Like I'm going to say it again, guys. You can't turn everybody heel. Let's not get crazy.
Right.
I get it. We're turning the page. It's the new season. It's the new year of WWE. It's the new cycle, if you will. But let's not get too cute. Let's make everything connect. We'll see what happens. We don't want to go off the rails. I just got a little bit of worry, just because everything's been so great. Well, let's talk about this. To my point, Paul Heyman now with Seth Rollins. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kelvin. I don't think we got a why on this yet. Nope. Did we get? I don't think they explained necessarily the why. They explained their grievances with the other competitors. They explained how they had outsmarted the other competitors. And then, we get Punk coming out. We get Roman coming out, which makes perfect sense. And then Braun Breaker, who I said, I'm like, his next role, he's winning that Money in the Bank. He's going to spear Jey Uso. We've seen it before. Like, he is made for that Money in the Bank briefcase. It looks like we're starting a faction here. It looks like Braun Breaker is a heel I would call this a heel group. I'm not going to lie. I like Seth a lot better on the microphone. A lot of the things he says, like going back to ROH and Punk, make a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. It's the see yourself become the villain line again. Breaker turning heel or being part of this, I'm considering it a heel group because you're attacking the baby faces. And we could talk about Roman's role. Breaker, I don't think is like a major shift. He's just like a tough dude. He does his thing, handles his business. He probably would benefit so much from being with a Heyman, traveling with a Heyman, being under the Heyman learning tree. I don't think Seth needs it in any way, but it looks like something's coming together, something's starting. Maybe it's just new and scary for me. And I'm just like, what are they doing? What did you think about all this? Braun Breaker joining up with this new, perhaps, faction of Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman.
I don't think you're going to get an explanation until the entire faction's together. And what I'm saying is, I think there's more people coming. So, being that we did get a heel turn from Becky, I'm going to throw Becky in this mix too, because it only makes sense. You have her with her husband. Both those are heels. It only makes sense for her to be in this group. So you have someone like that paired up with the Braun Breaker, who, if you listen to No Gimmicks, I had predicted Braun. I wanted him to be a Paul Heyman guy for a long time.
Did you really?
Oh, yes. It makes sense. It really makes sense. So you have him, Seth, Becky, and I was throwing out the idea of a tag team because the Dangerous Alliance had one, and I'm gonna say this is the new version of the Dangerous Alliance. And once they are all together, you will get an explanation of why they are together. So I'm gonna go. Here's my candidates, and I'm already one down. So Seth, Becky, Braun, and the Creed brothers. Those are my 5.
Ooh.
Those are my 5. And the reason I'm throwing out, so I was thinking either the War Raiders, but the War Raiders are faces right now. You can have them going up against the New Day. The Creed brothers are heels. And also you have Chad, who's playing Lucha Libre right now. So let him do his Lucha Libre thing on his own. Then you pair the Creed brothers with Paul Heyman and the rest of that stable and let them chase the tag titles. And by the end of it, you'll have the World Heavyweight Championship. You'll have the WWE Universal Championship. You'll have the tag titles, and you'll have a women's title all in that stable. And that's the Dangerous Alliance.
That's interesting. That's really good stuff. The only thing I don't understand, what do you mean Chad Gable's doing Lucha? I'm not following. Chad Gable's doing some
we know
Lucha thing?
It's him.
I think he was sick, if I remember correctly. I'll ask Bill about that one.
I hope you know what? I'm only putting this out there is because he did, there was the Lucha Libre guy did a ankle lock. Very similar to Chad's at WrestleMania.
It was similar. I'll give you that one. I'm an analytics guy. I'll give you that one. Yeah, really, really good stuff. We'll wrap it up here, guys. We got NXT coming up. A lot of things are in change right now. A lot of things turning the page here after WrestleMania. I definitely want to talk about it. Kelvin, I'm so glad you had a good trip, man. I could just see the smile on your face. I could see you're exhausted in the best possible way, man. It's just sometimes just like nice to get out of the bubble, man. Just get out there, connect with people. That's my favorite thing about all this wrestling stuff is connecting with you, seeing you with Amanda and Kimmy and Brandon and Dave LaGreca, and hanging out, passing by Ric Flair, man. It's so cool to see. And Kelvin, just thank you for being here, man. To give him all that shameless promo.
Man. So thedfpn.com very much we have a plethora of podcasts. No Gimmicks, Smoke Pit, Eat the Cake Anime, CJ Lovelady, who has his own YouTube channel. He's a horror fan. So we have a bunch of stuff. No matter what you're into, we have it. Please go to thedfpn.com. Shameless plug. Follow all the podcasts that we have on there. And also here, the BCP Plus. I took a weekend off from doing UFL to go watch WrestleMania. So I am covering the UFL. Shout out to the guys that are also doing it, Mike and Tyler. Shout out to those guys that are covering the UFL. Very much thank you for everybody that I met this weekend. I really, 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 really appreciate hanging out with you. It was awesome. Let's do it again.
I love it, Kelvin. And real quick, not to get too mushy, man, but you guys are so awesome, man. Like I don't know what we're doing with this thing or what we're building. I sent some emails today. I'm aiming high. I know you're aiming high, man. And I just think with you and myself and Bill and Amanda and Mike and Matt and everybody, we have such a good roster or cast of characters, or if you will, man. And I just love our different interview styles, our different takes, man. And just thank you, everyone, for supporting. Kelvin, I'm so glad to have you here, man. And just continued success, bro.
Thank you for having me, so much. I absolutely cherish it. Thank you.
Let's do it, man. More great things coming up, onwards and upwards, like I always say. And guys, like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace. The BCP is brought to you by our favorite store, Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, located in the Englishtown Flea Market in New Jersey from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, and online at FunkensteinWrestlingSuperstore.com. Get your favorite wrestling merch, retro video games, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, so much more. It's our favorite store. Thank you, Heather and Dan, for sponsoring the BCP. Also got to welcome back our sponsors, the No Gimmicks Podcast, the podcast that keeps it 100% real 100% of the time. Check out our guy Kelvin, only on the No Gimmicks Podcast. Wrestling All Day, All Night is the best wrestling discussion group on Facebook. We provide more of a community feel here and have wrestling fans introduce other fans to something they may not have seen before, such as old school wrestling, indie wrestling, Japanese wrestling, and so much more. We also strive to be a source of information regarding upcoming wrestler meet and greets and signings. And remember, we're open 24/7, all day, all night. Be sure to follow on socials and join the group on Facebook at Wrestling All Day, All Night. Welcome back, our sponsor, Sweet Chin Musings. Sweet Chin Musings is the creation of the reigning, rarely defending, highly disputed champion of wrestling podcast, Mr. Perfect, Mike Mueller, and his tag team partner in crime, Luke Kudialis. SCM focuses on the in-ring product of WWE and AEW, no dirt sheet rumors here, as well as backstage news, predictions, and analysis of characters, storylines, and major pay-per-views. Old school fans, don't worry, we have you covered as well, with a look back on classic matches, top 10 lists, and interactive tournaments that let the fans decide who is truly the best of all time. You can find them at Facebook at Sweet Chin Musings, and check out the podcast on all major podcast platforms. Please welcome back our sponsors on the BCP Plus and the podcast, GPW Productions. GPW provides your promotion or event with top-tier video, audio production, live streaming, and more. I can personally vouch for them in saying they are hands down the best production company I've ever worked with, as they have and continue to work with the likes of AEW, GCW, StarCast, MLW, not to mention the majority of the local independent promotions here in the tri-state area. They can even help you film a vignette or promo for your persona or gimmick. And guess what? GPW doesn't just work in wrestling. No, they cover MMA, boxing, basketball, or any other sporting event as well. On a personal note, I'd like to thank Mike Sesko, Frank Leone, O'Neil Andros, and the team for giving me multiple opportunities to work with them and some of the best talent in the world. Thank you, GPW, and guys, book GPW for your promotion or event today at contact@gpwproductions.com. Please welcome back one of our favorite sponsors, Mania Club. Established in 2015, Mania Club is a WWE-recognized community for fans with an eclectic love for both the world of professional wrestling and raising money for Connor's Cure. During WrestleMania weekend, we host the official tailgate of WrestleMania while also celebrating the life of Conor McCallum. They are the single largest donor within the V Foundation for Connor's Cure, with over 150,000 raised. Please donate and join the Facebook group over at Mania Club on Facebook. Donate at jimmyv.org/Mania Club. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for the months of May and June, J. Adam Photography. Jay provides quality, artistic, innovative photography with a quick turnaround time. Be sure to check out his latest ISPW wrestling pics and much more stellar content. Right now, wrestlers can do a special portrait shoot with Jay in Sparta, New Jersey for just $50. Contact Jay at Jay Vogel on Facebook and be sure to follow him across socials. Thank you, Jay, for sponsoring the BCP. Guys, let's welcome in our new pod sponsor, Cooper Groove Grips. When you play Cooper Groove drumsticks, you get increased sensory feedback from your hands, so your grip will naturally loosen, but you have complete control. With that taking place, you don't have fatigue and soreness, which can lead to long-term issues. Guys, as a drummer, Cooper Groove is my drumstick of choice. Sweaty hands aren't a problem. Grip is good. Don't forget to check out their amazing Cooper Groove bats coming out soon. Guys, follow at Cooper Groove Grips on Facebook. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsors, ISPW Weekly, where we dive deep into the world of ISPW, the crossroads of professional wrestling. Join Jumpin' Jay and Total with Tom every week as they interview the stars of the ring, uncover their stories, rivalries, and the electrifying action that defines ISPW. Be sure to check out ISPW Weekly on the ISPW Facebook page every week. Please welcome in our new pod and daily site sponsor, Twisted Shamrock Studios and Spa, located in Delaware County, Pennsylvania. Twisted Shamrock is a retro spa experience for the average Joe and Jane. Meet the next evolution of recovery and relaxation. Right now, you can try their introductory offer, where you can try a core service to include massage, skincare, facial, stretch therapy, body slimming, toning, personal training, and spray tanning for 30 minutes for just $30. This is perfect for our wrestling pals as well. Book today. Call 484-574-8868 or visit www.twistedshamrockstudiospa.com. Guys, please welcome back our returning podcast sponsor, USDN. USDN podcast is run by USDN Chairman and the Council of Nerds. We bring you all the latest news and rumors from the world of nerds and consolidate it right here at the U.S. Department of Nerds. USDN is for the people, by the people, and of the people. Follow them at facebook.com/US Department of Nerds. Guys, please welcome in our new pod sponsor for 2025, the Ropes and Riffs podcast, featuring Maestro John Kiernan speaking with the stars of professional wrestling about their in-ring, tunage, gear, and so much more. Check out John's interviews with the likes of Lince Dorado, Mercedes Martinez, and so much more. Find the Ropes and Riffs podcast on all major podcast platforms. Guys, please welcome in our new podcast sponsor, EM Collectibles, featuring live signings, collectibles, toys, and more. Be sure to follow them on Facebook and stay tuned for their upcoming events. Upcoming events right now, March 8th, Hernando Toy and Comic Show, the Hernando County Fairgrounds live signing with Super Crazy. March 22nd, Neg Dog Championship Wrestling presents Music and Mayhem in Hudson, Florida with special guest Super Crazy. March 29th and 30th, 2025 Syracuse Collectors Con in Syracuse, New York with Bill Alfonso, Gary Wolf, and the quintessential stud muffin Joel Gertner, March 30th only. April 5th, New England Fan Fest, and we'll have Buff Bagwell. April 13th, 2025, our premiere show, Bring Back the Memories Toy Show, and May 10th, our renowned 90s Wrestling Con in Morristown, New Jersey, guests to be named soon. BCP is sponsored by Warriors of Wrestling. Saturday, May 10th at Most Precious Blood Church in Brooklyn, New York, featuring former TNA superstar James Storm. Also featuring The Allfather, Darius Carter, Danny Moff, Chris Steeler, TJ Marconi, Warriors champ Roger Mendez, Danny Storm, Mike Titello, and a whole lot more. Get your tickets now at warriorsofwrestling.com. BCW and Shadow Wrestling Alliance present Anniversary 8, a Jurassic celebration honoring the life of Vince Steele. Live Sunday, May 25th at the Mecca in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Doors at 5, bell 6 times.